This one has been talked about a lot by both people in our offices and in the chat sections on the live streams. A lot of people are pretty excited about Revelation. I was skeptical at first, but after playing it, I see what all the fuss was about. I'm Colt from MMOHuts.com, and here's our first look at Revelation Online. Revelation Online is an action MMORPG and possibly the best execution of this formula that I've experienced. The game centers around your adventures in a mystical world filled with gods and demons as you fight to become the most powerful demon slayer in the realm. The story isn't quite as generic as I'm making it sound, and it genuinely has its interesting moments, but I did find myself skipping the cutscenes that could be skipped more often than not. Not because the story wasn't good, but because I really wanted to get back into the gameplay. RO takes elements of action combat we've seen previously in games like Neverwinter, WildStar, and Guild Wars 2, and presents them in a way that I believe they were always meant to be. Enemy attacks use telegraphs that should be dodged to avoid or lessen damage, and they show up a lot more frequently than in other games that have used this system. Your offense focuses mainly on executing combos and using your abilities, which all feel incredibly satisfying. The beautiful visual effects really give your attacks a sense of impact. This very active dodging system combined with the ability to chain combos together like this really give the combat a sense of urgency and a pace that made it feel less like an MMO and more like Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry. It did feel a little like Blade & Soul as well, but this game did feel faster to me. I felt like I had to respond more times and more quickly than I did in Blade & Soul. The game has 6 playable classes right now, each with their own playstyles and strengths. You have the Gunslinger, which is a ranged DPS class, the Blade Master, which is a melee DPS class, the Spirit Shaper, a magic user and support class, your Vanguard, which is a tank, which is what I play, Sword Mages, which use elemental magic and excel at AoE damage, and Occultists, which are another magic class that focus on dark magic. Character customization is pretty good in the game. It's no Black Desert Online, of course, but it does allow for a decent amount of personalization, and as long as you can avoid the really creepy doll eyes that some of the NPCs seem to be cursed with, you're bound to make a really awesome looking character. Also, you eventually can get wings and fly, making your character look even more awesome or dorky depending on your outlook. The game's rhythm flows between questing in the open world, which is pretty huge, or fighting things in instance dungeons and semi-isolated story mode segments where other players and NPCs are hidden from view. Aside from that, the structure of the game is standard MMO fare, and that's not a bad thing. You do dungeons and quests to level up until you reach the level cap, and then you do raids and the like. The game takes an interesting stance on the level cap though, which is cool. The level cap for a server begins at 49. Once a certain number of people reach that level cap, or a certain amount of time passes, the level cap gets raised by 10 levels. This is a really interesting way to handle the scale of power, but it seems like it could get out of hand if you had a large number of hardcore players driving the cap up constantly. The game has only been in open beta for a couple of days now at the time of recording, so we'll have to see how this plays out. Revelation Online does have an in-game shop, and you're even encouraged to visit it during a training quest to see what kind of things can be bought. The only gameplay affecting items I could find were various XP boosts, which could be useful for getting to cap quickly or to catch up to a friend who's passed you, but I was able to reach level 22 and gain a mount in about an hour and 20 minutes of gameplay, so the leveling in this game really doesn't need much help. Like Guild Wars 2 or Warframe, you can buy armor skins to make yourself the most magnificent of monster mass murderers, but since they don't offer any stats that I could find, the game avoids the dreaded pay-to-win stamp for now. Revelation Online offers a fast-paced, fluid, and fun combat experience for someone who wants to have a more traditional MMORPG experience without the tedium that comes from the traditional MMORPG tab target style combat. The only real problems I encountered with the game were some stuttering issues after the initial install, but these were fixed by closing the game and reopening it. The heavy traffic on the servers caused Jason's client to crash several times, but I wasn't able to recreate these problems, so your mileage may vary. Another issue I encountered with the game was that there were a lot of run here and talk to the guy segments very early in the game, when all I really wanted to do was jump in and fight monsters, especially after the taste of the combat they give you in the beginning. It's so much fun. This eases up as you go on, and they do throw more of the good stuff at you in bigger chunks. Still, Revelation Online, for a free-to-play MMO, offers one of the best gameplay experiences I've had in a long time, especially where combat and visuals are concerned. All in all, I give Revelation Online a less talky, more punchy out of 10. Well, that's all for today. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and keep it locked on MMOHuds.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.